Hello, welcome to part 7 of starting a new Animal Crossing island. I went to the co-op and got a haircut, and while I didn't love it, it did inspire me to go buy some more hairstyles, so I tried out something new. Today's a really fun day for a couple of reasons. One, I completed multiple builds and I'm really happy about them. And two, I went to a treasure island for the first time and oh my gosh, I know that this should be utterly obvious, but complete and total game changer. Complete and total game changer. I am going to warn you that for some reason my brain was completely hung up on the idea of a sunken villager area, and spoiler alert, it took a long time before it finally worked out. So I'm just going to apologize in advance for how many times you are going to hear sunken villager area in this video. It's going to be a lot, so I'm so sorry. So in order to prep for our sunken villager area, I decided to go ahead and move my home and garden over to this little island area. I do realize later that the garden isn't centered, so in a future video, I'm going to move everything over by one single tile, which is just so much fun. I decided to build up some cliffs to the left of the airport and have a place for 2 villagers, and I am so happy with the way that this turned out. I just think it really helps the entrance to the island. When I built everything up, it was very obvious that this was just way too small of an area. And so naturally, what would fix that? A bridge. Yep, obviously. But talk about a wake-up call when I realized that the river needed to be significantly wider than what I had room for. So I did go ahead and tear everything down. I did put the bridge over to the island where my home is, and I just think it's so cute. Also, here's my little growing gyroid collection, and seriously, I used to hate them and be like, what is their purpose? And now I love them so much. It's out of control. I knew that I wanted to have my farmer's market at the front of the island, so I went ahead and used all of these previous items to kind of mark out where everything else will go. I think it's going to be in the next video where I complete this build, and I'm really happy with it. So my lizard brain still has not given up on the idea of, and say it with me, sunken villager area. But this time I decided to include a lot more space. So this will now be an area for 5 villagers, and I thought it would be kind of fun to separate the homes with little canals. And I'm not gonna lie, I am slightly concerned that I trapped some of the villagers, because several times I would find the villagers in their yard, but they wouldn't cross over the water. But I do think that the map looks really cool, so that's a win. I was stumped at first trying to figure out what I was going to do with just this river being right next to the cliffs, so I decided to ignore all laws of nature and elevate the river. Is it running in two different directions? Maybe, but we just don't think about that. we don't look too closely at it. I knew that I wanted to follow the shape that the river had originally, so I tried to kind of mark where the different points of the river kind of change, and I gotta say, I'm happy with it. It makes me happy. It gives me another reason to have a bridge, and I like that. We have some villager gossip because I stumbled upon something spicy today. Chatter and Petrie are canoodling. I was gobsmacked when Chatter walked out from behind that little partition. I know what y'all are doing. I'm onto it. I am onto it. I also really thought it would be fun to kind of have, like, in my mind, it was like a little secret study spot, and then it very quickly morphed into like a cute little secret date spot instead. And I just think that this little area is so cute. You can only access it by vines, and I just think it's absolutely adorable, and I would love to go on a picnic date here. For the first time, I went to a treasure island and oh my gosh, I don't know why it took me this long. Not being limited by what you have in your inventory, I know that that's obvious, but oh my gosh, it makes all the difference. I went ahead and got some bells, paid off my next loan, and then I primarily focused on items for a library. Originally, I thought I was pretty happy with this layout until I went back to another island and I saw castle walls. And oh my goodness, that changed everything. Everything. So it feels appropriate that while I am building my library, we talk about today's book review. If you follow my other channel, The Bidlaver, then you will have seen me talking about this book, and oh my gosh, I think it might be one of my new favorites of all time. The book is The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. The mix of plot, political intrigue, and character development was absolute perfection. We have arranged marriage, a unique magic system, the most beautiful depiction of found family I have ever read, and a really beautiful love story. I was not prepared for how this romantasy was going to have me crying at my desk while listening to the audiobook, and crying every time I've talked about it or thought about it since I have finished the book. Typically, I have a little bit of a hard time connecting with like the prickly, distant, push people away main characters, but Voss's backstory and her growth throughout this book absolutely gutted me. The way that her female friendship surrounded her, and it was just such a positive, uplifting, and empowering environment, was genuinely one of my favorite aspects of this book. And as someone who is typically a plot reader, to say that this character development was my favorite aspect of this book, I really feel like that's saying something. If you have read this book or end up reading it, please let me know. I would love to talk about it. And the wonderful thing is, book 2, I believe, comes out February 2026, and I cannot wait for its release. I had an absolute blast with this build. There were a few more tweaks that I'm going to be making in future videos, but overall I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. This is very much what my dream library would look like, having multiple floors and fireplaces and cozy couches and books everywhere. But that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I have loved this process so far, and I cannot wait to share the rest of the island with y'all. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time.